Imagine being left out of a conversation that could reshape your neighborhood. Well, that is how many observers believe Israel may view all these developments. Reports suggest that their Prime Minister, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, is unhappy with several aspects of the emerging framework. And Israel is making something very clear. It intends to make its own security decisions, whether others approve or not. And this is creating visible tension. Well, on one side, there is an effort to reduce conflict. On the other side, there are concerns about long-term security. Here, Israel argues that threats from groups like Hezbollah or maybe Houthis, it cannot simply be ignored, and that any agreement must guarantee its safety. Its leaders insist that national security remains their top priority, regardless of any diplomatic development elsewhere. And that is where things become complicated, because peace agreements are never just about two countries, right? Every regional player has own interest. Every ally has its own concern. Every rival has its own calculation. Countries across West Asia are very carefully studying every detail of this deal, trying to understand how it could change the balance of power in the region. Which, by the way, means that if Washington and Tehran find a common ground, that may not automatically guarantee regional stability here. Here, Israel's reaction, it could become one of the biggest tests for this particular peace process. And what happened next, it can make the whole debate even louder. Sometimes peace does not collapse because of missiles. Sometimes it collapses because of money. As negotiations move forward, a fresh dispute, it has emerged. And it involves billions of dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, reports suggest Iran wants access to frozen assets before fully moving ahead. In the meantime, American officials reportedly want commitments implemented first before any money changes hands. In simple terms, both the sides appear to be asking the same question here. Who moves first? Here, Iran says trust must be demonstrated through actions. The US says commitments must be honored before rewards are given here. And suddenly, the whole peace process that looked very smooth, it now faces its first major test. This is why diplomacy is often compared to walking on a tightrope. One wrong move, one misunderstanding, one disagreement, and months of negotiations can start shaking. The disagreement may seem technical here, but it goes to the heart of the relationship between the two nations. Decades of trust cannot disappear overnight, right? The world is definitely watching very, very closely. Can both sides find common ground here, or will billions of dollars become the obstacle that prevents a historic breakthrough? Because let's be honest, if this issue it is not resolved quickly, it could delay or even derail the larger agreement. And yes, as negotiations, they argue over money, somebody else is watching very carefully. And that somebody, that's Israel.